disorders. Thank you. Just a disclaimer that we are recording this webinar. We will participate in this for your reference. We will be with you, and many of you have registered and not able to for one reason or the other. A bit about my academic and professional, a mouthful, but I have had a handful of years in practice, and most importantly in program development, which led to me starting in CAfRIC. Again, I will not take so much time on this because the most important content is here and where the juice of this conversation is. So while you saw this, and I know many people have shared, what I would like to say is that this news was, and to my it's not just me, I work with the whole team here at CAfRIC. Why we think, well, this is not news, there is something that we can do about it, and that is why we want to share. So why are we not surprised? We are pride ourselves as a trauma-informed mental health service provider. And so for any client who comes to us as a mental health provider, whether they are looking for mental health treatment, substance use treatment, for us, choose the because we understand the people and behaviors and the engaging activities to help them. Don't look at people to us as people who are having what they're supposed to do. Behavior to as a it is helpful for them to not and go out there and take care of our business. So, what is it with a few people was and someone who say, I feel burnt out, I'm so tired, is burnout. According to research, and there is a research that took actually a very long time, over 35 years, led by Christina Maslach, and this is what they define burnout. One is ended and exhausting. Many of us actually consider work exhausting. Don't actually like work. Many of us who have to work because the way we live, that we support our livelihoods. So when work is question out is depersonalization. And depersonalization is the lobby for others. Whether it is your clients, your customers, or even your colleagues. And when we lack regard or we lose empathy for others, we also keep an emotion. And this distance, it's not just that I don't come to work in room or in the office, but I am expressing cynical sometimes carelessness, just insensitive remarks, insensitive comments. And that is what personalization means, that I am there, like Brenda, thank you, Brenda, for sharing that you are there physically, but mentally you are not there. So you really have no element is professional efficiency. And this is satisfaction with past and present accomplishments, expectations of continued effectiveness at work. What you perhaps came from school before you started the work you're doing, you have sometimes you came from another position, accomplishments that you've had, and now with whatever you feel competent to be able to tackle the and the expectations of doing better, expect of earning career and even progressing perhaps even to, you know, self-employment like that. So that is what profession is actually the safety valve for once our work is exhausting, once we feel depersonalized by the work that we are doing, what empathy for our colleagues, our clients, our customers, and whoever it is that we are working with or we are working for, when we have professional efficiency, that acts as a safety valve. And I will expand that. So things first. A behavioral therapist, and with the team that I work with of behavioral therapists, first we must understand what is the expected behavior so that we can but their brother also drinks, but their brother does not spend all their sister also drinks. The person's expected behavior so that we know how badly off they've deviated from that behavior. Subsequently, cannot address this issue, which, quote unquote, is considered human failure at the workplace without understanding what makes one a great human being, great employee. So question to you, and I would like to see maybe on the chat, what makes you human, unique and great? Have you ever thought about that? What makes you distinct? If you're an employee, if you're a colleague, what makes you great? To share in the chat if you are comfortable to. I'm so curious, and I'll check the chat to see what people are sharing. What do you think makes one great, makes you a great thing? Give compliments all the time to people. You know, you're great, you're a wonderful person. What makes one that? And what makes one feel great? I think that should be what I'm emphasizing. What makes you feel great? Do you even know? Is it, you know, you are tall? Is it because you're strong? Is it because thank you. Yeah, accomplishments, internal peace, Kenan, Alice Maura. Thank you, thank you. I feel great when I'm able to emphasize. Maybe you meant empathy, recognition makes you feel great, ability to connect with others, wonderful. All right, now let's look at what research says about what makes you great. Yeah, this is what makes you great. Do you know your personality? And what is it? Who are you? What is, and many of us actually know our temperament. We've had, you know, sanguines, we call pragmatic, and all of those. There are many ways in which we define our personalities and temperaments. Also, how do you think? You know, how do and how you learn also says a lot about you and your personality. What is your love language? How do you receive affection? How do you express affection? All of those things. And it's like your love language, that is a test that you can do. It's open and it's available on Google. So personality is one aspect that makes you, that makes you dare personality very important. Point 2 is your talents. Are you aware of what your talents are? And we have many of the physical talents. Many of us we are able to do bodies with our hands, all of that. Many of us have cognitive talents. We are able to think, we are able to analyze, people who are very good numbers, with arithmetic, with solving cognitive issues. Many of us have emotional talents. We have able to have empathy. All of those are emotional. And the last one is social talent. People who entertain. They are getting into a room and they bring energy, warms up the room and makes the mood and spirits high. And the last one, have you thought about your say? Paid about, so what is it that bothers you so much that you cannot keep quiet about? Perhaps start to start looking when you're thinking about what your passion is. So when we are able to try to understand, this is my personality, this is who I am, and this is what my given gift, know how to use it. And I combine the skills of academic skills and training that I'm going to be a great employer, I'm going to be a great father, a mother, a great colleague, a lot to us when to ourselves with that understanding and say what makes me great, and then we take that greatness and we are able to offer our workplace, families. We actually operate in autopilot. Or a teacher to be a teacher, and we went ahead and we call ourselves great teachers, but we've never really looked at how that suits our personality, our talent, or our passion. So I hope today we have that in. Now, what makes one great and where does greatness childhood? And this is why. And this is actually where our juicy part of this conversation lies. Our childhood is so important. It leaves imprints that teach us what to expect from reality, that is world, and how to respond to that reality. And the most important relationship in our childhood is actually the relationship with our is the relationship that teaches us that what reality is and how to respond to reality. The relationship gives us these marks or templates about how the world works. It is from our parents that we learned that when you see, you put it in your mouth, you don't rub it in your hair. When we were babies, perhaps we could rub food on our hair, but our parents taught us, we put it in the mouth and swallow it. So they taught us how the world works, and it's not with instrumental things like that. They also taught us what to do with our emotions. They taught us how the world works around our emotions, and difficult emotions, heavy emotions, and light emotions. And that is the most important element. These marks are what we are traditionally called, especially in psychology, schemas. And we have schemas of all kinds. We have schemas, all of those kind of schemas that allow us to understand. They are kind of little GPSs that tell us when I see people dressed in, black here in Kenya, I see cars with a red ribbon, they are probably going to a funeral, not a wedding. So that's what I mean. When I see something that looks flat and it is white and I see people putting food on it, it's perhaps on a plate. So that is an object schema. So the schema I want to talk about today are schemas that has to do with our emotions. And this is what we call intra or interpersonal schemas. These are our internal compass These we were given by our parents, and they inform us, they inform or distort our reality. These schemas from childhood based on the experiences that we had with our early caregivers, and they teach us these two things. One, what to expect from, and reality is life, it's the world. You know, it's when we are interacting with other people, even. And number two, how we should respond to that event. When my boss, how I respond to my boss and what my boss says. When my colleague doesn't show up to work, I respond to that. My colleague says, I don't like the fact that you yes. How do I respond? We don't just learn that at CAfRIC, now we are working here. We learned how to respond to criticism. We learned how to respond to praise or still from there. And if we are praised and appreciated, we learn to appreciate and also receive appreciation. If we learned to be minimized and down because our accomplishments were minimized, minimize our colleagues' experiences. We are going to not even take compliments or praise from our employers. So as children, our intrinsic need was or is to belong and to connect with our parents. And our schemas then they form based on this. And this is how we learn how to respond to what's happening. We learn how to respond based on what is making mom and or what was making mom and dad function remain intact. The relationship mom and dad is so important for a child. If that is there, our survival was at threat. We may not have survived. We needed these people that were sacred to God. Relationship with them is, we don't receive that nurturance. We don't receive that guidance, that care in soothing. Then our brain, our amygdala learns, when I see my mom frowning, that should I expect? She is upset with me. She's not happy. And because I want to make her happy, I please her. I either make joke, then read her needs before she asks. I become the child from her, and I want to make her happy. And I also want to have an intact relationship with whoever is interacting. Okay. So that is how our intra or interpersonal schemas form. We take this into the workplace the same way we learned. So what is going on? You know, we clearly word burnout. Just going on. It is actually connection. And tonight, we'll see why it is connection. And the element we saw that is for burnout is what we call professional efficiency, or PE. No, they're not going to. This is not relationship with your children in your summer. Whenever efficiency is not going to fulfillment, and when there is no fulfillment, we give each other emotional distance. So one, professional efficacy, if they're able to answer these questions as true. And these questions are actually bound. If we have any practitioners here, you are that tool that we use. And these questions are what someone has experienced professional efficacy in their work. You answer I feel that I influence other people positively through my work. Very important. Many of us do work, but we don't feel like we are making a difference and a positive impact. I feel full of energy. Energy is important because when we don't feel fulfilled, empty, and we can only that has something inside. Easy to build a relaxed atmosphere at my work. Over, people or in authority, people who atmosphere or a problem, especially since COVID, because many of us now have been decentralized and working from remotely from homes, from other places. That has taken element out. But even then, I say remote work, we can still have an element of connection, knowing that my colleague has my back, that it is okay for me to not know everything, and I can consult my colleague or I can report to my supervisor or my boss that I can help with something. We can answer to, each person can answer to or to all of these 6 questions. That is someone who has professional efficacy in their job. And we know this is also what connection, no connection, no professional efficacy. So how do we promote connection, which equals to professional efficacy? There are 3 invisible connectors. And these connectors, they're just like you see in that image, ones that we connect to get electricity. We need to take care of these 3 things for us to foster connection in our work environment. And the most critical important thing to know is that connection in our work environment translates to connection in our social environments, connection in our family environments, and vice versa. 3 invisible connectors, which we all know, but we may have never thought about. And as you can see, this is what is lacking in workspaces. So that is the problem. Space is the that space. That word for it is connection. Okay, connection. That and just having a relationship with someone point to make, and you'll see why that space, which problem we and the bridge cannot. The bridge is the solution. Of what discuss this one by one. Between us, the connection, and that is the problem. And if we don't take the space we live together, when school, we automatically and unconsciously our person. I will, and with what I do and I don't do. your workplace be uncomfortable. Not just uncomfortable, this is danger. When something is myself. So we respond now in the four. The freeze, this is dangerous at work. It's dangerous. We flight, we take off emotionally. We see but also we are frozen. We cannot defend ourselves, run away from this depression of us, running into drugs, running into substances, because we are frozen in that. And the other phone, and phone, it is the negotiation. Many of us start now to blame our bosses, start to blame whatever it is. It is part of negotiating. So that the danger that is sitting in this polluted space doesn't me. So that negotiation are overworking as part of negotiations. Too much when you're not even recognized for it. At the end, we have negative negative. We can do it. Yes, we've talked about that. The bridge is the second one. How do we the bridge help to the world of our child, to the world of our presence. That cannot happen until we are from to this organization today, this relationship today. When we are aware and we stories of what like now here that we've been told for generations. Another quote, I am a love of these reflective quotes. They make us reflect on what quote from a French writer called Marceau. Tonight, many of us here is that you what is happening. You go back and read that news headline of eyes because you have some information. Organization is one of those report that bridge what lies that awareness and self-discovery. What are we expecting? We arrive, we encounter what? We encounter. This is where we meet two full human presences or souls. First, the other person, because we are able to cross that bridge. We share many of what we think we expect from reality and rest. Not just we choose to. We learn to respond that way because we have to respond that way to mother and father. For us, they were helpful. They are maladaptive. They are not helpful. It allows to activate our capacity for compassion and deep understanding, because that is where communication comes from. We're able to do that. We connect as the person with our passion and our purpose. And actually, that is our slogan here at CAfRIC. We connect the person, the passion, and the we become more relationally intelligent and mature, even when we are relating with our colleagues, in our work, and in even home and family environments. Carl Jung, another German philosopher who is one, says, unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And this is what many of us operate on autopilot. We have skills, we have degrees, we have PhDs, we have money, we have companies, we have employees, we have all these things going on for us. What happens is our real self is so hidden around the roles that we play, around the things that surround us, our ideal selves, around what we think the world expects of us. We have hid our real self. And we keep on experiencing and encountering life. And Carl Jung reminds us until we make what is unconscious, because our system keeps memories of how well we have been nurtured, how well we have been cared, how well we have been loved. We have three emotional needs: to be seen, to be heard, and to be accepted. If you experience those three emotional needs in your family, even today, you still demand that space. You are able to experience that feeling of being heard, being seen, heard, and accepted. When you don't, then we can talk on another webinar what happens. So that is Carl Jung. So, and at CAfRIC, we actually do that. And I don't know whether I'm skipping I'm skipping a slide. I don't know. I think so. And I just want to flip one. Okay. So CAfRIC, we do that. We do that. We provide this education like we are doing now, but we work in small groups because we recognize, one, therapy is very expensive. Therapy costs $5 an hour to help just one person with one issue, and there's going to be many hours of sessions. So we have designed programs that allow people to do this. It is in the workplace, whether it is in family, whether it is in social groups, in chamas, and people have been able to take on this space of awareness and growth and healing, to take on that space. And the most thing is that it's very accessible because we are able to deliver interventions here at CAfRIC, or even come in places where people live, learn, work, watch people life. It has become very, very affordable for many people to group-based. While the cost is 5,000 to do an individual session, that can be the only cost for the entire program when it's done in a group. And we also take private insurances like AR and CIC. We have that with them. The other thing is we are one-stop shop. We provide mental health solutions, including complex cases of mental health conditions or substance use. And once we treat someone, one becomes a lifetime client for us. Our follow-up is for life. Again, connection for us is key. Take home tonight, and I hope what you remember from this webinar, that been contributors. And this is the thing, the organization on itself is just an organization. But who are our leaders? What is in the cup of leaders who are leading the people in that organization? So I say, whatever could be polluting, it could be just the leader, one person who has trust issues, who has control issues. It could just be one employee who has, has these abuse, mistrust schemas, or maybe who isolates. So our capacity for connection is influenced by our own individual experience. And this is why we emphasize on self-discovery journey. And because this is most borrowed from early childhood. Awareness promotes healing and growth and improves connection. And I know this as a fact because as a recipient of therapy myself, the reason I do this work and I'm so passionate about it because I know how it has helped me as a person. I know that in any information that you hear, it changes, it updates something in you. And at CAfRIC, we do educate, train, and treat, connect the person with their passion and their purpose. And that is what we pride ourselves in doing. So our gift to you tonight, if you feel in your organization, in your family, you as a person, you would want to take that journey, we are more than happy to do that. We have free workplace or school, because when we work with organizations, whether it's a corporate or a school, what we do, we go in first and we do an assessment. This assessment allows us to know where the organization is and also where individual. These assessments, they are anonymous. You can just share the link with your team. We don't need to know who did what or who said that. So that allows people to share their experiences. And we are offering free assessments for the first 5 organizations who are attending tonight to be able to do that. This is valued at 75,000, but we are willing to do that for free just to demonstrate to people that many of us are sitting unconsciously on things that we can actually change. The next one is for anyone wanting to do this as a small group, maybe with your girlfriends, your guy friends, with your family, maybe your siblings, your chama. We have the self-discovery program that we talk about all of that journey from childhood and how it affects and how it reinforces us and what adaptations or survival adaptations we show up to be able to map our journey. This program, usually it's 8 weeks. It's done once a week. The sessions are done once a week. They're 2 hours once a week, and it's done virtually in the evenings. The cost for this 8-week program for one person is 30,000, but we have a discounted cost offer for tonight. That is 15,000 for anyone willing to sign up for this program before August 15. That is the deadline, and that is missing here. So if you're willing to take this journey or you know someone who could benefit, highly, highly. If you know organizations that resonated with that news headline, tell them there is a solution, all is not lost. There is a solution. So these are just other services that we offer here. Again, I said we treat all mental health conditions. We treat and rehabilitate substance use. We have a center, CAfRIC Center, where I'm at, fully licensed and accredited mental health facility, and we have 30 beds. We admit both male and female, and we have private residences for those genders. And we also process trauma, childhood trauma and grief. We process here. We also offer therapy and counseling for individuals, couples, or even families. And this is how you connect with us. Should you have any questions? Before I end, I would like to hear, and I'm hoping Martin Kishovi, if you're logged on, could you unmute? And please come on camera. I would like you to hear from someone who's done this for their organization and the feedback that they've received. So Martin, if you are
yes, I am. I'm on.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Irene, and well done. That was an awesome presentation. And for me, this is just a testament. Seeing me here, I'm a director of a company called Alba Capital Limited. We are in the money lending business, and we engaged CAfRIC, and Irene, her team, as she has indicated, did a is they were able to tailor make the training to suit every need that was there based on the assessment done. And the training emphasized on the importance of reducing stigma surrounding mental health issues. And we got enlightened on the significance of creating a culture of compassion and support, like where individuals feel comfortable seeking help and even discussing their mental well-being without fear of judgment or retribution. On helped notably shift our office dynamics. And you could find where team members are more open and empathetic towards one another. The impact of getting training from CAfRIC is that at Alba Capital, we have witnessed improved morale. Productivity has increased. We've had a reduction in terms of absenteeism, in terms of staff due to, issues related to mental health and the like. Members also now have a better understanding of the signs of mental, and they are able to identify support even to colleagues. And what I would really want to emphasize, and especially for those who are teachers here, for me as a team leader, I was equipped with people's skills on how to be members, irrespective of age, personality traits, among other background differences for each individual. So I would really encourage the members or the attendants to this session to engage CAfRIC, and especially after having done that initial assessment, it was such an eye-opener to so many issues that we might have taken for granted as an organization and even for as individuals. And in terms of productivity and spirit, we are definitely at a whole different level. And for us, the more we continue recruiting, the more we'll definitely engage Irene and her team to bring in that knowledge. So for me, I don't think I'll ever stop attending these sessions, Irene. I'm much more a better person right now. Trainings that. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Martin. And thank you for sharing experience. Again, we say for us, we sell a feeling. It's not something that one can see. It is a feeling, it's a transformation that people experience, it's a transformation that organizations experience. And so it's really good that you could come on and share your experience with Alba Capital. And I think many people, especially all mediums, lot of people, even businesses close because, and we keep saying it is employees, but when it comes to human experiences, the more difficult they get, the closer you actually are to the solution. So thank you very much for your time. I will leave, we have a few minutes. I'll leave it for questions. And Derek, if you don't mind, to check the questions that are on chat, and people are free to come on video or even speak from behind the camera and ask questions that you have. This is the time to do that. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time and attendance.
Yes,
Derek?
there is one from Jane Peter. She says she'll sign in her team. Maggie says she'll reach out. Caroline says that it was a great presentation. Let me see if there are any questions. Yes, please ask the questions and you can even come. Yes.
Very good, thank you. Everyone, I'm glad this was helpful. Our contacts are there on the screen. You can take screenshots. This webinar was recorded, so it will be shared. And if people wanted to recap, I know we had only 1 hour, but also I'm very cognizant for time that we don't keep people beyond their bedtime. So we'll stay on for any questions that may come up. Thank you for the positive feedback. The question I'm being told, do you also have a package for an individual leader who wants to improve on their EQ? Yes, we do. Lydia, please reach out through those contacts and we will discuss that. When it comes to experiences, We are one-stop solution. And as Martin has said, we said only the experiences that people have, the transformation is what sells what we do. Because I can sit here and tell you we do this and do that, but it's that feeling that one gets. So leader, yes, we are able to, we can talk about that later. Great, I will discuss this with my bosses. So looking forward. Thank you, Alice. Thank you. I am so glad. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And I am hoping reflective moment. You will have some peace. Remember, career, that until you make the unconscious continue to direct your life, and you will call that fit. Thank you, Joy. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And we will be having these routine webinars. If you registered, you will get the other notifications. We hope to be able to tackle some of these things, you know, from the public person to recognize that the power to change, the power for better actually lies within, because it does. So you'll get notifications for future webinars. Subscribe to our channels. You will also be able to be updated there. But thank you. Thank you. And thank you for co-hosting. That was wonderful. You're amazing. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Lee. Thank you. God bless you too. Thank you, everyone. Yes, I will stop sharing because Derek, you can share maybe your wonderful closing, soothing message. Thank you, everyone.
I don't know whether I am very soothing, but thank you very much for showing up, for joining us. I hope you've learned a lot, and we will be reaching out to you.
Thank you.
I sent every one of you a text message reminding you of the webinar. So that's where I'll be sending you the link, and also that's where you can ask questions. And yes, have a great evening.
Thank you. See you. Or see you in the programs, the self-discovery program, or into your work environments. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
You too, Irene. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good to see you, Alice Maura, too.
Thank you.